So, Aaron Rodgers has been a starter for the Packers for 13 years. The Packers gave Aaron Rodgers a top 5 defense once. And what did Aaron Rodgers give them in return? A Super Bowl. Conversely, Russell Wilson entered the league and spent his first 5 seasons with a top 5 defenses. Russell Wilson only returned them 1 Super Bowl. 62 wide receivers have been drafted the last 5 years in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. None have been drafted by the Green Bay Packers. When you want to talk about wasting a star player, look no further than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers already has 1 Super Bowl, so for me to call him a waste, that is a compliment to how talented he is. But 9 times he's been to the Pro Bowl, 3 times the NFL MVP, and 3 times he has been an all-pro player. So you can talk about the likes of Barry Sanders. He never had a great quarterback. You can talk about the likes of Dan Marino. Not until later in his career did he have a top-tier defense. If you want to switch sports, you can talk about the likes of Kevin Garnett. He never got pieces, so he had to leave and go to Boston to get a ring. But when talking about the here and now, when talking about the great that is Aaron Rodgers, I am fervently convinced that the Packers are completely wasting his career. But Greg Jennings, you played with Aaron Rodgers. You played with the Packers. So what say you? How bad are the Packers wasting Aaron Rodgers?
Well, I think that they've wasted some of his career, but I think more than anything, they've relied on his talents far too much to overcome all the woes and all the mishaps. And what I mean by that, when you have a transcendent player and a player that has the ability to impact a game and just completely take over a game with his arm and legs, the way that Aaron Rodgers has been able to do for so many years, you fall complacent to that. You fall comfortable to that. And you think that I can just give him anything and he'll make it work. That's where I feel like the Packers have gone wrong for years as of late. It has worked. So I can't say that they completely wasted it because it has worked for them in the past, but it has not worked up to this point. Now, when we move to date and the mishandling, in my opinion, of his contract and restructuring it and his future, solidifying that, I think they're going about it all wrong. When you've had the opportunity to be a part of, and I'm talking Mark Murphy, and specifically of the Brett Favre saga that they went through, that I was there and I lived that, you don't go through that again with an all-time great, with a Hall of Fame quarterback. You allow him to bow out. You give him what is needed. And I'm not saying you just completely kneel down and put your hands out and say, Aaron, whatever you want, we'll do. I'm not saying that. But you answered the easy question. If he wants to have some solidifying factors put in place, or you saying that I'm solidified through X, Y, Z, give him that assurance. We've heard it before. When Matt LaFleur got acquired as a head coach, he immediately said, Aaron Rodgers is a guy. I love this guy. Even last year, going into the season, Aaron Rodgers is our guy. Even right after the season, this past season, immediately Matt LaFleur and all others were speaking highly of Aaron Rodgers being the guy moving forward. But now, as of late, the conversation has changed. The answering system and the way they've responded to questions have changed, which leads me to believe that they are changing their mind. Well, it's not even that they're changing their minds. They had already made up their mind that they were going to move on from Aaron Rodgers and giving Jordan Love an opportunity to showcase his talents. And I believe in that NFC Championship game, that faithful 4th down from the 8-yard line, them kicking that field goal, that decision being made by Matt LaFleur, and you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers who's always on top of managing games and knowing situations and feeling like I can do this, I can make it happen, and you made that decision not to put the ball in his hands, that, my friend, he does not want hanging over his shoulder for the remainder of his coaching career in the Green Bay Packers helmet and uniform.
Now, Bucky, I saw you scoff and kind of let out a quick chuckle when I said that no career has been wasted
Bucky don't like this.
more than Aaron Rodgers. Respond, Bucky.
Look, man, I didn't think that you guys are big, tough guys, big former football players, but I'm thinking that you guys must sleep with the lights on because you're scared of the boogeyman. Because I just don't understand why we fear Aaron Rodgers so much. Like, oh, we don't want to make Aaron Rodgers mad. Oh, he's the quarterback. He's done all these things. We can't make him get upset by bringing another guy into the room. Let me kind of hip you on game in terms, I think that's Acho's term. So here's what happens with the Green Bay Packers as it relates to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers from, 2016 to 2019, did you know that each and every year his completion percentage and passer rating were declining? And so if you're management, you're looking at a 36-year-old quarterback, well, he was 37 when the draft came around, a guy who is showing you diminishing returns. At some point, you have to get someone in the building that can play quarterback. And so what the Green Bay Packers were doing is they were making a prudent business decision, one that paid off for them when Brett Favre was also declining and struggling. And I know what you're saying. Yeah, but he just came off an MVP season. If they had given him some more weapons, who knows what would have happened? I get that. And normally, right away, before you pass away, you have one resurgence of life, and then you flatline. And so with Aaron Rodgers, he had that MVP season. But let's not. Look, he's 37. He's going to be 38 years old. He's not going to play forever. They understand this. They may be growing tired of his complaints and maybe the subtle innuendo that he's floating out there this offseason. So at some point, the contract expires at 2023. It might be best for both parties to move on. Aaron Rodgers can go his way. The Packers can go their way with Jordan Love. And I would say, based on the Packers' history, they've been okay handing the baton off to other quarterbacks and continue to have success.
But Bucky, my guy, you're vexing me with that opinion, and here's why. Bucky, the Packers have been to one Super Bowl with arguably or inarguably the most talented, not the best, but the most talented quarterback the game of football has ever seen. Between Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, the Packers have won 2 Super Bowls and been to 3 Super Bowls over roughly a 30-year stretch. I don't know if these are prudent business decisions or ignorant business decisions. Bucky, the other thing I draw issue with is this. I'm not going to poke fun, if you will, or even notate Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, one of the richest men in the world, if he happens to lose a couple $100 million. Because a billionaire who loses a few $100 million is still wealthier than everybody else. Aaron Rodgers in 2016 declining, he's still better than everybody else because he's declining from a 40-touchdown season. Aaron Rodgers in 2016 is declining from a Pro Bowl caliber season. So I don't know if I can give the benefit of the doubt to the Packers. Let me remind you, Bucky, the same Packers that haven't drafted a receiver in the first round ever. The same Packers who haven't drafted a skill position player in the first round since Aaron Rodgers was drafted. Oh, wait, they did. That's on me. Jordan Love, the quarterback to replace Aaron Rodgers, is the only skill position player that the Packers have drafted. So, Bucky, I don't know if I trust the Packers to actually do Aaron Rodgers right. And in fact, it's become abundantly clear that the Packers don't know what they're doing with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my gosh. I'm over here. I'm nauseous. And I'm even more nauseous that Greg Jennings has spent time